Hey everyone, Brandon here from TruckSafe. Personal conveyance has always been a gray area within the FMCSA's hours of service rules, and thanks to some recent regulatory developments, it will continue to be that way for the foreseeable future. Today we're going to discuss the FMCSA's recent decision to deny a petition filed by the Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance, or CVSA, concerning personal conveyance. So stay tuned, and do us a favor, hit that like and subscribe button below if you find this type of content helpful. What's going on, everyone? Quite a bit of news coming out of the FMCSA lately, including the recent Senate confirmation of the new FMCSA Administrator, Robin Hutchinson. But in this video, I wanted to discuss personal conveyance. This is a topic we've addressed ad nauseum in other videos and articles, but we have a fairly recent development that's worth noting. If you're not familiar with the concept of personal conveyance, make sure you check out that prior video on the topic. Suffice it to say, personal conveyance, or PC, describes situations where regulated drivers are operating commercial vehicles in off-duty status for their own personal use. This time doesn't count against their driving and on-duty limits, so the agency and law enforcement has historically been fairly wary of its use. For its part, the FMCSA has issued what it calls regulatory guidance on this topic, which essentially lists common examples that both qualify and that don't qualify as legitimate personal conveyance. It's this guidance that has drawn the ire of local law enforcement and the CVSA. In March of 2022, CVSA filed a petition with the FMCSA asking the agency to do away with its regulatory guidance and to more definitively address the topic of PC in its regulations. Now, in that petition, CVSA noted that while the conditions in the agency's PC guidance present certain parameters to drivers and enforcement, the guidance it offers is incomplete because it does not provide a maximum distance and/or time that a driver can travel under personal conveyance. This change adversely affects safety by allowing drivers to utilize personal conveyance to legally drive many hours beyond the hours of service limits and by making it difficult for inspectors to identify the misuse of the provision. CVSA goes on to say to correct this, FMCSA should add a definition of personal conveyance to Section 395.2 that includes a maximum daily distance or time limit and subsequently remove that existing guidance. The petition goes on to say that under the current guidance, a driver could, in theory, drive hundreds of miles over the course of several hours, all under the designation of personal conveyance. This presents the opportunity for increased driver fatigue and risk on our roadways, as drivers may decide to travel hundreds of miles in order to strategically relocate to an alternate location after driving a full day. Without a maximum daily distance and/or time limit, the guidance presents a legal way for drivers to significantly extend their driving time and the furtherance of their load while recording personal conveyance. So what exactly was CVSA proposing with its petition? Well, if you read the rest of that petition, you'll see that CVSA was asking the agency to establish in its regulations a maximum distance and/or time limitation for personal conveyance use, similar to Canada's regulations, which generally limit regulated drivers to 75 kilometers, around 47 miles, of PC use per day, assuming the vehicle is unladen. According to CVSA's petition, by establishing this maximum allowed distance or time for PC, FMCSA would not only eliminate confusion and inconsistent enforcement among inspectors on this issue, but would also ensure safer roads, as commercial motor vehicle drivers and motor carriers are on notice that personal conveyance time cannot be used as a safe harbor for driving hundreds of miles after exhausting their hours of service. So that was the CVSA's position on the topic. Of course, drivers and motor carriers have their own thoughts on this topic, which tend to vary pretty wildly. Ultimately, the FMCSA decided to deny the CVSA's petition in September of 2022 without much discussion on the topic, noting only that there's not enough data to support the safety benefits of placing temporal or distance limitations on PC use. So where does that leave us? Well, the agency's decision to deny CVSA's petition leaves us at status quo under the agency's 2018 personal conveyance guidance. Under that guidance, a driver may record time operating a commercial vehicle for personal conveyance as off-duty only when the driver is relieved from work and all responsibility for performing work by the motor carrier. Now, under that guidance, a CMV may be used for personal conveyance even if it is laden, since the load is not being transported for the commercial benefit of the carrier at that time. Also, personal conveyance does not reduce a driver's or motor carrier's responsibility to operate a CMV safely, according to the FMCSA's guidance. Motor carriers can establish personal conveyance limitations either within the scope of or more restrictive than this guidance, such as banning the use of commercial vehicles for personal conveyance purposes, imposing a distance limitation, or prohibiting personal conveyance while the commercial vehicle is laden. So that's where we are currently under the FMCSA's current guidance. Again, there's a lot of nuance to this existing guidance, so if you're interested in learning more, make sure you check out our prior video on that topic. All right, that's going to wrap things up for this video. For even more in-depth information about these types of regulatory topics, be sure to check out our innovative online courses for safety managers and drivers over at trucksafeacademy.com. Also, be sure to check out our detailed compliance articles on our website, trucksafe.com, and follow us on our various social media pages for the latest highway transportation news and analysis. Thanks for watching.